Check it.
What is up, guys? Welcome to another video, and today we are back for another Ask Hippo. Earlier on this week I released a ramble vlog, and in that ramble vlog I told you guys to ask me some questions, and we're going to go ahead and ask them now. Didn't get that many, but I got just enough to do this Ask Hippo. But don't worry, if you didn't ask a question yourself, there will be future opportunities for more Ask Hippos further down the line. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and get straight into the first question. I'm probably not going to get through all of them, because there was a lot of repeat questions that I've already answered before, etc, etc. So I'm going to answer some of the new questions, some questions that you guys may want to know and stuff. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get straight into this video. So the first question comes from Next Gen Racing, and his question is, did anyone inspire the creation of Drcast? So essentially, okay, I'll tell this story, because this is a story which hasn't been told. So Drcast was one of those things. I was actually unhappy with how Up to Speed was being run. That was the podcast that me, Black Panther, Magnificent Media, and EK Drifter did. But anyway, I wasn't happy with how that was being run. I just didn't like certain things about how that was being run. And I kind of wanted to start my own podcast, and I know CJ was very keen at the time, so we were working together. I think this was back in Christmas 2014. We were working together to try start the new podcast that we were going to do, which obviously eventually became Drcast. And it was really, there was no like specific inspiration for it. I used to watch a lot of PKA, which used to be a podcast back in the day, and that kind of inspired the kind of way it's gone, I guess. But there was no real inspiration in terms of this guy made me want to do a podcast. It was kind of like I was already doing one. I wasn't happy with how it was being run. CJ wanted to do one, and I thought it was just the perfect time, perfect place. All the stars kind of aligned, and now, you know, how many years later? 2 years later, you know, we've got almost a completely different cast, and you know, everything's just completely new. It's changed so much since day one. It's actually a bit ridiculous, but at the same time, I wouldn't change it for the world. It's actually like one of my favorite things to do each week. So yeah, that is kind of how Drcast was born, really. The next question comes from Dr. Doge123, and his question is, what game - when did you fall in love with the R32? So for anyone who doesn't know, I don't know how you wouldn't know at this point if you've been following my channel, but the R32 GTR is my favorite car. Something about that car, I don't know what it is, I just really like it. Like, again, it was love at first sight. I've kind of talked about this before, but anyway, when did I first fall in love with the car? I actually don't know. Okay, so I'm going to explain again my kind of backstory behind this. So I was one of those guys, when I was like 10 years old, like as a little kid, I did not know there was multiple Skylines. I thought the R34 was the only Skyline out there. So I didn't really know that the R32 existed, and the R32 is actually the last one I found out about. So obviously everyone knows the R34, it's just popular and everyone knows about it. Further down the line, I then found the R33. And I was a bit confused because I thought there was only one Skyline, and now there was the R33 too. I then found the R32 a few years down the line. I think I was either playing Forza or The Run, one of those games, and I saw it on there, and I was like, this car trumps the R34 and the R33. Those were cars which were my favourite cars as well for a very long time. And then I found the R32, and I was like, whoa, this is pretty cool. And then I did a bit more research, and then you've got like the R31, and then you got loads of other cars before that, like the 2000 GTR and whatnot. But the R32 kind of stuck to me. It's the looks about it, you know, obviously it's the power, it's the mentality behind it. There's just everything about it just screams me. I don't know what it is. When I see that car, like there's a connection which I don't have with many other cars. Like maybe the Murcielago is the one other car which I kind of fell in love with like that, but the Murcielago is kind of like a childhood dream. It's not so much like a goal which I can aspire to get, I guess. You know, the Murcielago's it's kind of the ultimatum of a dream car, as where an R32 is definitely possible. I could get an R32 and the transmission isn't going to break every 30k miles or some shit. But yeah, there was just something about it when I first saw it. Like, it just looked like something I liked, and then I kind of just rolled with it, and it turned out to what it is today, where it's basically all over my social media, YouTube, and everything else in between. The next question comes from Apple Slipper, and his question is, what is your favorite driving road? And this is a question which I don't really think about too often. There are very, very few driving roads which I do want to drive. One of them is Akina, or Mount Huruna, as some of you might know it. It's in Japan. It's that main mountain off Initial D. I would like to drive that. Mount Fuji is always one I've kind of wanted to drive in Japan. There's a lot of places in Japan generally I would want to go to. Then obviously you've got like the Nürburg, the Autobahn, you've got the whole kind of the coast of France and Italy that was featured in Horizon 2. Hell of a lot of roads I want to go on. There's a lot of American roads which you can go on, you know, like Route 66 is a famous one, although I do feel that would get quite boring, you know, but there's a lot of roads. I think overall, if I did have to pick one, I would have to pick Mount Huruna as that mountain pass from Japan. There's just something about that road which just, it's so tight and it looks like so much fun to drive, and I think it just, again, it screams me. If one day I could ship my R32 over to Japan and just do like a tour of Japan, that would be so cool. But yeah, I think to kind of round it off, Akina - Mount Huruna, they're basically the same thing. And the final question isn't actually from anyone on the like Twitter or on the YouTube. It's a question I've been getting quite a lot generally, so I thought I'd answer it. It's, when are you going to be live streaming on Twitch? Now, for those who don't know, I've had a Twitch account since basically the start of this channel. Like, I used to stream on that every single week on Friday, no doubt, back in the FIFA days. And you know, ever since I've been focusing more on the video side of things, I've kind of slowed down on Twitch. You know, it's a lot more important to me to get videos on the YouTube channel instead of streaming. You know, back then I wouldn't be streaming, I wouldn't be uploading every day, you know, and I'll be balancing it out, so I'll be doing a bit of streaming, a bit of uploading. But nowadays, you know, this is my full-on goal. I aim to upload every single day on here, so you know, that means Twitch has been put a bit to the side, and Twitch is very exhausting. Twitch is one of those things where you really have to put your mind to it, and you really have to go for it 24/7 for it to be a thing. And obviously I want YouTube to be that 24/7 thing, so it's kind of hard balancing it all out. But I will be streaming on Twitch. Like, it's not completely dead. I'm just taking a bit of a hiatus because, again, I'm quite busy at the moment doing IRL showcase stuff, and I've obviously got IRL stuff generally, and then trying to make YouTube the best it can be, and you know, all types of stuff. You know, I'm not dead on there, but I'm just putting it a bit to the side while I sort other stuff. And like I said, I will get back on there eventually once I do have a bit more free time. It's one of those things, if I have some free time, I'll go ahead and go on a bit of Twitch, but YouTube and, you know, improving the content on this platform for me is a hell of a lot important, and that's obviously what I'm going to focus on. But I'm not dead there, don't worry, I will be back on there soon. It's just a matter of time. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, hit the like and subscribe down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. You guys have been awesome. Thank you for asking some questions if you did, and if you haven't, don't worry, there'll be future opportunities to do so. And with that being said, I will see you guys in the next one. You guys have been awesome. Stay safe and peace.